It has all the elements of an international showdown. Iran now says its Red Crescent Society will try to break Israel's blockade of Gaza with a shipment of humanitarian relief. If it does, Israel will have to make a major decision. And joining us now, Israel's ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren. Mr. Ambassador, thanks very much for coming in.
Pleasure to be here, Wolf.
Iran says it's going to send some ships from the Iranian Red Crescent to Gaza to participate in this effort to break Israel's blockade. If they do that, will you send Israeli commandos to stop those Iranian Red Crescent ships?
Well, Israel will take any step it needs to take to defend itself. The naval blockade is in place to prevent massive amounts of rockets and other munitions from reaching Hamas in Gaza. Any ship that comes to try to break that blockade, we're going to stop. If they come with humanitarian relief, we'll take the humanitarian relief and we'll give it to the people of Gaza. But if they come and try to block the blockade, Israel will have to defend itself.
Do you have independent confirmation that Iran is about to do this?
No, only their declarations, just what you heard.
You take that seriously?
They can't estimate it right now. Iran makes a lot of declarations and doesn't follow through with a great number of them.
Does Iran have the ability to get its ships into the Mediterranean?
Or would have to go around outside of the
Can they go through the Suez
Persian Gulf.
Can they go through the Suez Canal?
I don't know if the Egyptians would let them. These are complex diplomatic questions. Or it can swing around and go halfway around the world. I think the issue here is the need for Israel to defend itself. And Egypt has the exact same policy. Egypt's afraid of Hamas. The Palestinian Authority knows that if Hamas gets rockets, it's the end of the peace process. It's the end of the Palestinian Authority. Many countries are invested in this blockade. It's not just Israel.
A lot of people understand that and appreciate it. What they don't understand are some of the lists of prohibited items that Israel won't allow into Gaza. I'll give you an example. The Economist reported things like ginger, nutmeg, canned fruit, dried fruit, fresh meat, seeds and nuts, and they go on. Musical instruments, newspapers, wood for construction. Is that true that Israel won't allow these kinds of materials into Gaza?
The important thing here is that Gaza is getting all these materials through other means, through the tunnels under the Egyptian border. We assure that there's no shortage of food or medicine in Gaza. We have 100 trucks a day at least going over our border carrying food and medicine. There's no shortage of either of these things.
But are these things prohibited from going through?
You know, Wolf, I don't have a list in front of me. I hear all sorts of things from Hamas in Gaza, from the Free Gaza movement. The fact of the matter is our commitment is to assuring there's food and humanitarian aid. You know, Gaza Strip is a hostile entity to us, and I don't see where the United States during World War II felt a great need to supply, you know, chocolate to the German people either.
What do you think of this European Union proposal that they would take over inspecting these ships going into Gaza? They would make sure there's no security threat to Israel, no weapons or missiles or rockets or munitions or anything like that. They would do the job, and Israel would no longer have to deal with these ships coming in. The EU would check the ships.
Oh, we're open to any suggestions that would help facilitate the blockade better. We've had some bad experience with international supervision of rocket shipments to Hezbollah in Lebanon.
That was a United Nations operation, but this would be an EU operation. Are you more comfortable with the EU taking charge?
Again, we'll be open to suggestions. Our past experience has been that in Lebanon in 2006, Hezbollah had 12,000 rockets. Now it has 42,000 rockets. There were European observers along the Gaza border when the Gaza border crossings were open. Hamas shot at them, and the Europeans ran away. Keep in mind, this is Hamas, Wolf. This is Hamas that fired 10,000 rockets into the state of Israel. This is Hamas that is sworn to destroy the state of Israel.
What I hear you saying, though, is you're more open to EU inspection of ships than you would be the United Nations.
All I can say is we are open to suggestions. Our experience in the past has not been particularly felicitous.
Israel's going to have its own independent investigation of what happened with the flotilla the other day. Will you allow international observers to participate in your investigation?
Well, the investigation will be an Israeli investigation. Israel is a democracy. It has the right and the duty to investigate itself, just as the United States investigates incidents that happened with American forces in Afghanistan and Iraq. But the Israeli government is considering some type of international component in that investigation.
You rejected a United Nations investigation. You won't cooperate with the United Nations as far as an investigation of the flotilla?
We're not going to have an international panel of jurists sitting in judgment on Israel's action. That cannot possibly be a balanced panel. And again, as a democracy, it's part of our sovereign right and duty to investigate ourselves.
So how bad are relations between the Obama administration and the Netanyahu government in Jerusalem? Tomorrow, right here in the Situation Room, we'll have part 2 of my interview with the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren. Stand by for that.